Hey guys, V. Rigoni, Max, high performance real estate entrepreneur. So we're going to be talking about a subject that we've discussed in the past, but this is just not a copy of something else. This is really why you should be doing what you should be doing to become financially free. And that is choosing the vehicle. And in this case, we're going to be talking about real estate investing. Even if we're talking about buying your first single family home, even if we're talking about, a 4-unit building. And we're going to be giving you the keys to do that. Well, how do you open that door? How do you move through? How do you make it happen for you? All right. And why should you make it happen for you? Why in the hell should you choose to invest in real estate? Just because someone tells you it's a good idea? No. You have to understand for yourself. And then you're going to be able to go out and research it. You're going to be able to go out and find the information. But we're going to have some really great content here, some really great information. So stay to the end, listen to it all, and I guarantee you that what you're going to learn here can change your life. Now, you can't hear that on every video that you ever watch, but I'm telling you, what you're going to learn here can change your life. So listen, if you like it, then smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Leave some questions, because there's no way that you can watch this all the way through and not have some questions or a comment. And I don't care. I don't care. Maybe you don't like my shirt. I don't really give a shit. You can say that. It doesn't matter. Hopefully your comments or questions are relevant. But if they're not, hey, I don't really care either. So let's get on with it. So why should you take real estate? Let's look at the general reasons first as to why real estate is basically a good investment. All right. Why it's a vehicle that you should use in order to become rich, in order to gain wealth. All right. In order to gain your financial freedom. All right. Let's just look at some of the basics. All right. More people have become wealthy in real estate than in any other investment vehicle. Hell, like I say in the past, they fight wars over real estate, right? Russia, okay, invading Ukraine, all right? The movie that was out, Napoleon. I mean, you think real estate isn't important? So if people are willing to die to own real estate, do you think maybe you should think about it as an investment vehicle to gain your financial freedom? So that's number one. What are some of the other? And I even wrote them down. So let me kind of look at my pad here. My yellow pad to kind of get this out so I can get them all out for you. The real estate has always increased in value. Now, does it increase in value tomorrow? Absolutely not. I don't know. But when I was 20 years old, you could buy in the Chicago suburban area, you could buy a really nice 3-bedroom ranch when I was in my 20s in the suburbs for $75,000, $80,000. That same property now is worth $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, depending upon what they've done to it. All right. Now, do I know what's going to happen to real estate tomorrow, the next day, a week from now? No. But real estate's a long-term investment. It's not speculation. Yes. Are there times when real estate can go through the roof, can move fast? Yes. And we just went through one of those periods. It was because of the inflation. But we don't even know if they've covered all the inflation yet. They're talking about the fact that inflation is back down around that 4%. They want to get it down. Maybe it's actually in the 3s. I don't know. All I know is that over time, real estate does extraordinarily well as an investment, not always as a home, but as an investment. What's another reason you're looking at it? Well, because if you haven't, if you've gotten rich in other ways, there are people out there, the Bezoses of the world, and those are the extremes, right? So anybody that has gotten wealthy, that's worth $3, $4, $5, $6, $10 million, they take their money and they also then go back and they invest it in real estate. And then once we get into the financial reasons, I'll be able to explain why they do that. But they all do it. But the basic reason they do it is because of the stability of it. Because they don't want to just put all their money with the banks. They don't want to just give up by all treasury bonds, even though they can just live off the interest. They don't want to do all that, especially now that the interest rates are back around the 4s and 5s, where you can actually live off of interest. No, they know their money has to go up in value over time. And so not only does it go up in value, but it then gives you that sense of stability. So as an investment, okay, wealthy people, okay, have gotten rich in real estate. Real estate always appreciates over time. And when they get wealthy in other ways, they go and they put their money into real estate. You're seeing a pattern here. And so there are also the reason that you're going to have a legacy, right? Someday you're going to grow old and you get to leave that legacy of real estate for your kids. And the financial and tax benefits of doing that are extraordinary. And we'll talk about that as we get into the financial reasons why. These are just the general reasons why you should own real estate and choose real estate as one of your primary vehicles to becoming wealthy. Another one is because it's a team sport. And in the beginning, if you buy yourself just a single family home to rent out, or you buy a duplex or a quad, you get to have, and as your kids get older, if you have kids, your wife, spouse, whoever it is, they can help in you growing that real estate. They can be out there with you when the tenant moves out. Now that may not seem so exciting, but let me tell you, I know from my own personal reasons and my own personal history that when you can have your kids involved in something like real estate, you teach them at a young age. This whole idea that you teach people the value of a dollar. I don't know what the hell that actually means. I do know that you teach them how to make the dollar without having to go to work every day to do it. That's what you're teaching them. And you're teaching them a work ethic. And you might say to me, well, you always say that you don't have to work, you have to think to get rich, not work. It's a combination. Unless you're just some super brain that can sit there, and do other things, in the metasphere or sphere or wherever. My point is that it gives people a work ethic so that they understand. And when you can teach that to your kids at a young age, and you can teach them how to make a dollar, okay, not just the value of a dollar, you teach them how to make it, and then how to make it when they're sleeping, how to make it when they're on vacation, how to make it when they're in school. You teach them something that very few people ever get to teach their kids, because these schools aren't doing it. And 99% of the parents out there have no understanding about how to do it. And so this is part of your legacy. It's just not the financial end of it that they'll end up with a bunch of real estate at the end. All right. They'll also know their way around real estate. They'll know how to invest in real estate themselves. If you don't think that's valuable, then just shut this damn channel off right now and don't ever bother watching it again. Because I can tell you in my life, that's probably one of the greatest values that I've gotten from real estate, is knowing that my kids understand real estate. And one is now the CEO of our company, and the other one is out living the great life in San Diego, and took a house that has an in-law arrangement. And they're living in the in-law arrangement, and they rented out the other part of the house, and the mortgage payment in San Diego is being paid by the tenant. And they're living a great life in San Diego, and they have no mortgage to cover out of their own income. It's coming and getting paid through the income from the tenant. And they're working on doing their next project. This is what you can teach your kids. This is how you can change your life, their lives, and then hopefully your grandchildren's lives. Because that's what's happening in my life right now. My granddaughter, when she graduated from 8th grade, one of the things she said that she wanted to do, they make that big list and they put it on they put slides out where they say, what do you want to do when you grow up? What? She said, I want to run a property management company. Can you imagine? Everybody else is like, I want to join the Army. I want to do this. That's all great. She's like, I want to run a property management company. Do you think some of this has rubbed off on her? Yeah, she's got the same old bullshit that every teenager has to deal with. But in her mind, she's already figured out that there is a path that is less taken by most people, but it's a path that will generate income, riches, wealth, and give a good life. So for you people out there that say, oh, all you care about is money. No, I care about quality of life. If you think that going to work 9 to 5, punching that clock, getting on that bus, sitting in front of that computer at home, okay, going to that cubicle, getting in that truck. If you think that's quality of life, well, then I feel sorry for you. I really do. Quality of life is when you get to do what you want, when you want, where you want, with whomever you want. That's quality of life. So let's get on with this. So what's the next thing? Well, let's talk about the financial reasons for choosing real estate as a vehicle, because what I just told you before were the general reasons why people will invest in real estate. But let's talk about some of the basic financial reasons why you can invest and you should choose real estate. No, let's start right from the beginning, right? It's easy to get into. And you're like, what do you mean? I've been renting for 10 years. Well, that's because, you don't have a brain. Now, I'm happy that you're renting in a sense, and I'm only being facetious when I say you don't have a brain. And maybe renting, if you're renting but buying, real estate as an investment, all right, well, you're using your brain. If you're just renting forever, well, then you're just paying somebody else's mortgage. Okay, and they're getting all the benefits, and you're just paying rent. Now you might say, yeah, but you have tenants. Yeah, we do. Average tenant, it's 2-3 years, typically. We don't expect our tenants to stay in our buildings for the next 20 years. How? We don't even want that. A tenant sticks around for 20 years. The problem is they become your friend. You never want to raise the rent. And then all of a sudden, their rent is 30, 40, 50% under market. Well, good luck with that shit. We want our tenants to move out, to end up where they get something for themselves. Yeah, that's really the bottom line. You always got to want the best for everybody. But you got to have a brain. You got to use your brain. They said God gave everybody a brain. I don't know. Sometimes I got to wonder. Anyhow, I digress. So it's easy to get into financially. And how do we break that down? Well, we break it down with the fact that if it's your first property and you want to buy a duplex or a threeplex or a fourplex or a single family home to start with, yes, you can get an FHA loan today with 3.5% down. They even have FHA loans. Let's just start with 3.5% down. You need a credit score. No, it's like 580. I mean, that means you're just breathing. That means you got all kinds of problems on your credit report. You got all kinds of problems on your credit report, but you can still buy a house. And you won't pay all that much more interest than somebody who has a 780 credit score, unlike buying a car. Go buy a car with a 580 credit score. They're going to charge you 18%, 20% interest. They can't do that when you're buying a house through FHA. So don't buy the damn car, go buy the house. People put as much money down on a car today when they could actually be buying the house. Now, I'm not saying you don't need a car. You got to figure out something to get to work. But most people spend way too much money on a car and then wonder why they don't have enough money to invest in real estate. And so they make it very easy. The government, they allow up to when I was actually selling real estate back 30 years ago, they would allow you at that point up to 42% of your income on an FHA loan towards your mortgage. Now, conventional is less, but we're talking FHA here. So, don't quote me on the 40%. I think it's actually higher now. Go look it up. Yeah, that's right. I'm not here to give you everything. Go look the information up. Spend a moment. Just Google. What is the highest amount that you can use that can be of your income as a percentage of your income to go towards your mortgage payment? And I'll tell you, it's going to be somewhere around 40 or more percent. So they make it really easy for you to get in. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, if you're looking to buy, other vehicles of investment in vehicles, like a franchise to open up a Subway, well, you might need $100,000, $200,000, I don't know, but it's going to be a whole lot more than 3.5%, my friend. So if you're choosing real estate, you don't need a lot of down payment and you don't need a lot of credit, but you do need a job, a job. That's what you need. And so that job to them will show them how to pay back the loan. When you have that job, you have income. The income goes to pay your bills, goes to that 40% can go towards that mortgage, and that's how they're gonna know that you're gonna pay the mortgage. Now, if you're buying another building that has 2, 3, 4 units in it, well, they're gonna allow, I believe, is up to 75% of the current rent to go towards the qualification of your mortgage. Yeah. That's how you can start thinking bigger than just a single family home, because they're going to allow the rent to go towards qualifying for the mortgage. So yes, I know a lot of people feel like, well, let's just buy a single family home. Well, the problem with just a single family home on an FHA as your first is the fact that then you got to live in it according to the rules of FHA for at least a year. Now, there's some ways around that. I get it, but that's primarily. And you always want to try to follow the rules. That's kind of like an absolute. So you can do it again and again. So if you can buy a 2-unit or a 3-unit, then right off the bat, you can go and you could have rent coming in. Now, that doesn't mean you can't house hack the one you're in. Yeah, you can move in there, but you can also rent the other 2 bedrooms out to friends or whoever and bring in income that way. So even if you're just buying a single family home and it's got a basement, yeah, I know there's some zoning rules and all that sort of stuff. I get it. But we're talking about people that you know. We're talking about people that if you had a problem, you can get them out. But we're talking about hacking. We're talking about hacking the house. That's right. And so if you can do that, if you can house hack and you can generate more income, then they're helping to make that mortgage payment. So and then what happens in a year? Well, in a year, if let's say it's a duplex, then you can move out of that unit and you can now buy another building. Because as long as you buy a building that's $1 more than the one that you had bought, then you get to do FHA all over again if you want to go FHA. All right. And you can do another building. It just has to be worth at least $1 more than the one that you're currently in, the one that you currently had bought through FHA, the first one. And so you can multiply this process out. And now you end up at the end of 2 years, you might be ending up with as many as 8 units or as little as 2, right? 2 single family homes or two 4plexes, because up to 4plex, they allow you to go FHA with 3.5% down. Yeah. And you have to understand that as you build these units, as you get more properties, then you're generating more money that can be used for more down payments. So yes, you're still going to have a JOB. You're still going to get out there. You're still going to do the hustle. Go to work, make it happen, pay your bills, keep your credit score, keep improving that credit score. But then some of that money that you're making from your job or your side hustle or the rents, as the rents go up, you're going to set aside. You're going to have to have your reserves. You have to have reserves. Otherwise, you expose yourself to, inappropriate risk. But you have to make sure that then you're generating more money for more down payments. And so you can keep this snowball moving down the hill. That's how this thing works. It's a good snowball. It continues to grow over time. So that was the first reason, right? And that is they make it really, when I say who makes it? The government, the matrix. They make it easy for you to get in. They don't want to have to provide all the housing for everybody in this country. So they make the rules pretty slack so everybody can get in and buy a house if they pretty much can, fog a mirror. So what's another reason? What's the second one? Is appreciation. That's right, appreciation. Real estate goes up in value. It takes time. It's like we just talked about. But I cannot remember a time that if you go over 10 or 15 years that you didn't make a whole lot of money in investment property. Now, there are, yes, people say that there are certain categories that have, are in trouble. Yeah, we've talked about it. Office buildings, are in trouble. Large retail malls have been in trouble because people don't want to go into the malls anymore. They want to, just get out there and go on the internet. They want these lifestyle malls that are exterior, and then, that's great. Except when here it is, it's 2 degrees, 3 degrees below zero. I don't know how many people want to go from store to store and outside, but in any case, this is what they want. All the big malls are tearing half them down, and they're building apartment buildings and attaching them, and then creating them both an interior and exterior mall setup with extra restaurants and lifestyle and all this thing with huge apartment buildings attached. Now, we're not talking about that for you now. We're not talking about office buildings for you now. We're talking about residential. They appreciate over time. Ask your folks what they paid for their house. I know. There are some people out there that are still living in homes that were bought in 07 and 06 that are just now breaking even from the last financial crisis, depending upon where the house was located. But in most metro areas okay, across this entire country, in most locations, those houses are all now worth more than what they paid for it. Was it brutal? Yes, but that was mortgage fraud. And we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. But that had nothing to do with real estate and all to do with mortgage fraud. Well, they've put a cap on that. That's not happening now. The average mortgage out there is like 3.5% to 4%, with about 25% of the people who've got their homes paid off. So there's not a whole lot of risk, mortgage risk, in single-family homes right now. That's why they're having a hard time going down in value, even though the economy's been slowing down. Because people, they're just holding on to them. They don't care. They're paying a very small mortgage payment. So then they appreciate in value. That's a great opportunity. In other words, when you're sleeping, it's going up in value. When you're on vacation, it's going up in value. No matter what you're doing. When you're in the John reading the newspaper on the throne, it's going up in value. You can't say that about many other investments. Oh yeah, stocks can go up, but they go down so fast that make your head spin. You don't see that with real estate. Real estate is slow to go up, it's slow to roll over, it's slow to go down, and then it gives you time to get back in again and add. They have cycles like all other investments. There are cycles, and we're going to be coming up to a new cycle here. And we just have to see how this recession that they're talking about, that they've been talking about for a year and a half, that they're talking that it's going to happen now or in the next 3 months. We'll see what happens. But it should, in any case, whether it's a mild recession, a deeper recession, or just a yawn, it should start to create a new cycle.